Okay, let's get this guy set up. There we go. Okay, let's get this guy set up. Alrighty, just about there. Give me a second. It takes about 40 seconds for YouTube to catch up with StreamYard. Good morning, Mike Foodie. James Lonergan, good morning. Ramel, good morning. Makoto, good morning. Thanks for coming by, you guys. Another Tuesday live chat, North Caloocan City, where the city meets the province, baby. How's everybody doing? Oh. Ramel, thanks for coming by, brother. Sounds like you're busy today. That's all right. We'll catch you next time if you can't hang out today. How's everybody doing? What's going on in the world? Maddie. Yeah, she was hilarious in that, right? I mean, I didn't have anything really, although I've got some videos. I've still got some footage to edit and upload. I didn't have anything really to pair with that. So I just put that up. What was it? Six minutes maybe at the most, if it was even that. But it was just so hilarious to watch Maddie. And, you know, Melanie got a huge kick out of it when she saw it. So I just decided I'm just going to go ahead and put that up. You know, what was it, 5 or 6 minutes of Melanie arriving? But she was, man, I don't think I've ever seen her that excited. She's James Lonergan. 23 days to go. Wow. Yeah. Yeah, James. I remember very well that countdown. It's you know, really a weird thing, but you know, you're a really smart guy. You're coming over here as a single guy too. That's going to make things a little bit easier for you, actually. And you're going to you're going to Bohol, right, James? Mike, yeah. Everyone was so happy to see Mama. Clyde Seaside, actually, I have an excuse this time. The trash truck came. Just as I was walking into the room here and set everything up, the trash truck came, so I had to gather up all the trash and take it out. But yeah, I probably would have been 5 minutes late. I always seem to, you know, I always seem to get, for some reason, a little bit behind now on Tuesdays. I sit down, have my coffee, and I just don't time it quite right. The shower, the breakfast. I got to get better at that. What was it? I was, yeah, 9:14 I came on, so I was almost 15 minutes late. Overstay Farang, I don't recognize your name. You must be a silent watcher. Thanks for joining the chat. Farang is typically a Thailand phrase. In Thailand, white foreigners are called Farang. Oh, okay. You're new here. Okay, I thought you said you enjoy my channel. Clyde Seaside, yeah, I saw that this morning. There was a hostage situation at Green Hills Mall yesterday. And the short the short news clip that I saw this morning said that there was some shots fired, but it didn't really mention if anybody was hit. So anyway, yeah, if you guys want to see, the news clip didn't really mention much, other than the fact that at noon yesterday, on Monday here in the Philippines, there was a hostage situation, and there was about 30 people that were taken hostage. It was apparently it was a guard. They first said it was a guard that used to work at the mall, and then they changed it in the story and said it was a guard that was used to collect money from the mall. So that's a different thing. Okay, Overstay Farang intends to travel here to the Philippines. Okay. Sorry, James. Yeah, Bacolod. I knew that. I knew it was Bacolod. I just, for some reason, I got my B cities mixed up. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, try to connect. Okay, go to see Rose. Pizza Bill. I've heard that Pizza Bill name many times, but I'm not exactly sure who that is. If he's a vlogger or if he's a guy that has a pizza restaurant there in Dumaguete. Or Bacolod, sorry. Maybe a trip to Dumaguete. Yeah. Well, a trip to Dumaguete from Bacolod would be fairly simple, right? Levitt, 97, welcome. Sorry, I saw that question. We're doing okay. I thought James was going to Bacolod. Yeah, he is. Mike Foodie, how did your daughter's party go last Tuesday? The party was, it wasn't actually a party. They were rehearsing a, what's it called? They all had scripts and they were rehearsing something. Malo's 1963, good morning. Welcome to the chat. Gary T, welcome. Murray, I was late also, don't worry. I didn't even log in till 9:14, so. Landhawk 59. Now that name I do recognize. Although he hasn't been here in a long time. He was a regular here on my channel for a while. Gary T, good morning from San Francisco. Rokon, Montana, good morning. Okay, Talisai. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's pretty cool, James, having other expats already, lined up there that That's probably, especially when you know them, that's probably going to be very helpful. I was talking to Clyde Seaside about that in a video chat last week about how it's probably not something you want all the time, but it's nice to have. It's nice to have that available where you can maybe text somebody and 20 minutes later meet at a coffee shop or talk things out, have a little English conversation. uh, Mike and Marichu, Virginia Beach. Ah, I had a. I think there's a lot of Filipinos there, right? Or there's a big Filipino section in Virginia Beach because I had a friend that I worked with in my job that was Filipino, and his whole family, uh, you know, when his dad got out of the Navy, his dad was actually, I don't know the whole story, but his dad was actually in the American Navy as a Filipino and did 30 years or whatever and retired. And that's where they went. And my friend was born actually in Subic Bay. He was born in Subic Bay, but was in the US before he was even 1 year old. So he has no recollection of the Philippines, what it's like here. It's kind of a weird thing. He was a great golfer too. Helped me a lot with my game. The guy was he was a really good golfer. I miss him. He was a good friend of mine. Hmm. Dave DeLauro was his name. DeLauro. What a great guy. Tropical Tim has caught the bug. He tried a live show on Sunday. I saw something. I didn't know that. Yeah, I saw something. But for some reason, I just didn't get a chance to watch it. Mike and Marichu liked El Nido, so Palawan. I've heard good and very bad about El Nido. I've heard that El Nido's not quite ready for tourism. You know, uh, it's just not quite ready. What did they end up cooking last Tuesday? Oh, Mike Foodie. Yeah. And by the way, it was kind of a party. Whenever you get, you know, 10 plus teenagers together, regardless if it's homework or not, it ends up being some kind of a party. But they were here till, God, so the live chat ended at 11. They were probably here till 2 o'clock, maybe 3 o'clock before the last one left. We fed them all for 300 pesos. And I just I gave Ira May a 500. I said, here, this is, because I was actually getting a little bit low on cash too. you know, that was, uh, that was Tuesday. We had 2 days before Melanie got home. So they ended up cooking, getting a couple of cans of that. Is it corned beef hash with some fried potatoes? They made a dish of that, and they made a couple of different noodle dishes. So they did good. And out of that 500, I got like 180 back from Ira May. So they were happy. They had, you know, two giant bowls of food that they were all sharing. So all bought from Sorry Sorry. What? Okay, James, the Doctor and the Bum channel is from Bacolod. He's an Aussie, and his wife, the Doctor. The Doctor and the Bum. Well, there you go. There is another Philippines vlogger I knew nothing about. It's amazing how many of us there actually are here. It's amazing how many there are that you don't even know exist. A lot of them live in America, but it's a foreigner Filipina, and they vlog about, this and that, their trips to the Philippines, or half and half. Any plans to go to Tom and Ruth's meet and greet? We don't know yet, Gary T, if that's going to happen. We just don't know. I would love to go, but we just don't know if that's going to happen. G. Biscoe, Alberta, Canada, thank you for joining. Mike and Marichu, yeah, the infrastructure. One of the first people I remember was B Adventures. God, that was probably 3 years ago, actually. B Adventures. I haven't seen him around for a while. I wonder what's going on with him. He was that was a vlogger that got pretty big fairly quick. A lot of people liked him, but he was one of the first vloggers. I remember going to El Nido, and he was one of the first people that said, "Do not bother coming here." It's just he was very disappointed in it. So I bet Tropical Tim would know a lot about that place. James Lonergan found out an interesting fact. My great uncle was the guy for the military based my great uncle was the guy for the military based in the PH that ran the morgue in return of the deceased. Wow. Do you happen to know that's a bad habit I've got, but very few people complain about it. James, do you happen to know where he was at in the PH? That's pretty cool. And that's something you didn't know before? Wow. And how did you come to find that out? Robert Dyer, welcome. Thanks for coming by. Thanks for coming by, sir. Jürgen Ernst, not ready for mass tourism, maybe. And, that could have something to do with it. Is maybe just too many tourists. I'll tell you what, you guys. Now, I haven't been to Palawan or Boracay, or, I was down around Boracay. I was in Romblon province on Carabao Island, which I would recommend over Boracay any day. But in my opinion, you just cannot beat Puerto Galera on Mindoro. That place is just, in my opinion, it's one of the best places to go, especially if you live on Luzon, like I do. Jim Schultz, good morning. Thanks for coming by, Mr. Jim Schultz. Buzz. Clyde Seaside. Brandon has just been vlogging from home in Australia. Well, I wonder why I haven't. I know I'm a subscriber of his. I'm not getting any notifications. I don't know why. I'm going to have to go down my list and see what's happened to B Adventures. I know I was a subscriber. There was a time there where he was going to the Philippines at least twice a year, if I remember correctly. Makoto, there was a question brought up on Tom and Ruth's live stream. Philo, have you ever seen prepackaged meat, like prepackaged beef in the Philippines? Prepackaged meat. You mean like imported? prepackaged? Or, Makoto, are you talking about prepackaged as in the butcher behind the wall there at Save More cuts up 8 pork chops, puts them in a package with cellophane over it? Is that what you're talking about? Or prepackaged like processed meat that maybe came from George Fair, Toledo, Ohio. Toledo, Ohio. I've got a very good friend in the U.S. that's from Toledo, although she's in Southern California now. Sean Dayton, good morning, sir. Welcome to... Okay, Makoto, you know what I do see a lot here at Save More are... First of all, to answer your question, no, you don't see a lot of it. What you do see a lot of are you guys know the sticks of barbecue that you buy on the street? You know, the ladies sitting there fanning the grill, and they're, I don't know, 6 pesos, 7 pesos each. You see a lot of those that are prepackaged by both Save More and Pure Gold. They will do a whole display case with maybe 8 barbecue sticks. Most of the time it's pork. It's barbecued pork. It's already marinated, and it's already put on the stick, and they prepackage that with the styrofoam back and the cellophane over it, and there'll be a whole refrigerated deal of that. But that's about the only thing I recall seeing. And, you know, in the U.S., it's very common to buy hamburger that's prepackaged, or a couple of ribeye steaks that are prepackaged. Yeah, you don't see a lot of it. Most of the time, you're dealing with somebody that's going to, with a pair of tongs, they're going to pull out. Everything's just open there. You know, you've got a large section of pork chops that are butterflied, and the next one is going to be ground pork and ground beef. And yeah, S&R. Well, S&R isn't really, you know, there's not a lot of people that shop at S&R. It's so expensive. But yeah, that's true. S&R is like an American grocery store. There's almost everything at S&R. In fact, everything is prepackaged at S&R, as far from my memory. Rickshaw Philippines beef jerky is prepackaged. Yeah, I think that she was talking about the way we buy our meat in the U.S. It's funny, the difference, because, well, it makes sense, really, because everything here is, it's exactly the opposite, right? In the way we buy our meat in the U.S. is exactly the opposite of the way you buy it here. Almost everything that we buy is prepackaged. Although you can have the butcher there at Kroger or Ralph's. I'm just naming off a couple of American big grocery chains. You can have them slice you some steaks, but it's not common. You're more likely to buy the prepackaged one that's in styrofoam. James Lonergan, your Johnsonville sausage comes all the way from Wisconsin. Yeah, you know, the one thing that Melanie really misses are the brats, the Johnsonville brats. We have not found those here, even at S&R. S&R has a Johnsonville sausage, but it's not the actual brat. You know, you had beer brats. There was like 4 different types of Johnsonville brats, and Melanie just loved those, man. She just loved them. I would, you know, simmer those in a little bit of a beer water mixture in a skillet, then put them on the barbecue grill, and the flavor of those brats is just out of this world. That's something that Melanie really misses, along with a good ribeye steak. Jim Schultz, I have not found no, I gave up on it. I think I am going to take Walter's advice and go out there one night with the flashlight and try again. But I'm certain now that screw's gone. as many trips as I've taken over humps and, you know, the trips to the front gate to drop somebody off, my daughter or Melanie or Johnny B, trips to save more. We went to the Maddie's groomer last week. As many trips as I've taken, I'm sure that screw's gone. So, yeah, S&R is kind of expensive. It's not, considering the lifestyle that I live, it's not a place that we can shop, really. Yeah. Well, also, it's a common size. Yeah. Also, there's 5 of them on there. So missing one isn't going to be really that bad. You know, it's not going to be that big of a deal. Clayton Clayton. I'm not sure. I don't want to wreck your last name, so I'm just going to say Clayton. Welcome to the chat. I was in the Marine Corps, yeah, 5 years. When I got out, I was a corporal. Stationed at Camp Pendleton in California. Try your ear corn in foil with beer on the grill. American style. Try your ear corn in foil. Clay. Okay, just call me Clay. SNR, Rickshaw says, yeah, there are things that are good to buy at SNR, but those things are so big, we don't have, you know, I mean, we could just get a grab car if we go. You know, one of the things is detergent. Detergent in a 5-gallon bucket is pretty damn cheap there compared to buying what's called a sachet here. I mean, the sachets are relatively cheap, like at Save More, but we discovered that big 5-gallon bucket of detergent was a pretty good deal. I was never stationed in Hawaii, no. Went through there a couple of times on Westpac, but Darren's Travels, good morning. How are you, sir? Yeah, I knew what you meant, Rickshaw. Corn on the cob. Clint S., you can buy regular like Hellman's mayonnaise, or is it Kraft? God, I've been away from the U.S. so far. I forget the big name brands of mayonnaise, but you can find it here. Even at the Filipino grocery, they sell it. Kind of expensive, though. It's kind of like buying a bottle of A1 steak sauce. Like a bottle of A1 steak sauce at Save More is like close to $10. Yeah, $10 for a bottle of steak sauce. Also, SNR, you know, the paper towels and stuff, which aren't commonly found, but yeah, your bulk stuff, soap or shampoos, body soap, just like what's it called in the U.S.? Costco. All those things are pretty cheap at Costco too. What's the weather like out there in May? Super hot, Michael. Super, super hot. The kids are out of school April and May because it's summertime. And just to give you an example, Michael Morello, in May here, it's 100 degrees every day with probably, 100 plus humidity. Rickshaw, I never thought of getting the detergent. Okay. Clint S. Jim Schultz, what is your big trip with the Rough Riders? Jim Schultz, we were supposed to go to Ballure, but I was just in so much pain. I didn't. you know, it was 8 hours, almost 8 hours on the road, 200 and almost 60 kilometers to Balor. And I just, for some reason, starting Wednesday of last week, my arm, I've got a little touch of arthritis or something in my elbow. And I just didn't think I was going to be able to do it. So we ended up not going to Balor. I was really bummed. I know Melanie was. Melanie really wanted to go. I was hoping that we could turn it into a positive and go out and have a nice big family night out over the weekend, and that didn't work out for us either. So, Timothy Coles, good morning from Ireland. JSE, or can you get Canadian A1? I don't know. The A1 sauce that I'm seeing here in the Filipino grocery stores looks like it's identical to the shit, now I'm getting behind. The A1 sauce that I see here looks identical to the sauce that's sold in the US, okay? James Lonergan, Save More is the blue and yellow. The green building is actually pure gold. Clyde Seaside says, I always put a 2-kilogram pack of laundry powder in the LBC boxes I send to the relatives. Yeah. Clint S., they do have Head and Shoulders. I've seen it, yeah. Clay, I could be wrong, but Best Food Mayo is part of Hellman's. Best Food is probably one of the names I was trying to remember. And Costco, James says Costco's half owner. I've heard that too, of S&R. Terrence Walters, good morning. Welcome to the chat. Ouzelfinch, good morning. Ouzelfinch is a Southern California homeboy. Darren Travels says, I had Chris on my live chat last night and went 12 hours. Chris, Philip Eno, when are you going to go to SM North next? I don't know. Tomorrow I have to go to LTO, so that should be fun. LTO. Plus, I'm late. My registration has expired by 1 week on my motorcycle, so I think it's a 200 peso fine or something to be late. But just going there and dealing with the line. Eric De La Cruz, good morning. Paul was on my chat. Oh, cool. Darren, that's pretty cool. Ouzelfinch, the weather sounds like Louisiana. The weather sounds like Louisiana. Sorry, I got that. Philip Eno, welcome, and says he was in Costco in Canada. Jim Schultz, you're getting old. Yeah, and maybe a little before my time, it seems. I've told you guys that the Rush Riders are all a lot younger than me. These guys can ride 300-400 kilometers, with no sleep. The thing about our Rush Rider trips is we always leave, sometime between 8 and midnight, and we go all night long, which is the best time to ride because there's no traffic. But you end up doing it on no sleep, and it's kind of dangerous, Just went to Costco. They are out of rice because of the corona panic. First time in 10 years. Oh. Costco in the U.S. is out of rice. Wow. Clint S. says you need another basketball game. James Lonergan says, yeah, I don't know what it is. I have really good days. And then, because I did the Taal volcano trip, but since that trip, it's really been bad. And I just don't want to irritate it anymore. I'm tired of being, James Lonergan says a copper bracelet. I've seen that technology. I wonder if it really works. Edward Crandall, good morning. Oh, Darren. Okay, Chris Abrit. Yeah, I know Chris. I keep getting S&R ads noting Pure Gold has some of the S&R's pizza and roasted chicken deals. They have the same corporate owner. Pure Gold. Well, that's interesting. So, James, I don't recall seeing that in our Pure Gold here, but then we're a little bit away from the city. It could be that in the metro area, that Pure Gold is, I don't know. Obviously, there must be affiliated. You do see a lot of S&R standalone places where you can get S&R pizza in the city. Mike Foodie, I'm still taking turmeric, yeah. Darren's, I'll try to make one of your chats, buddy. I bring Old Bay seafood to my girl when I come there. Yeah, Old Bay is awesome. That's one of the things I miss. Ruben Victor says, hello from Mexico City. We love our brothers and sisters in the Philippines. Very cool. Dennis Adam, good morning. You have to say that Gilligan's Island is your favorite. Clint S. says, you were awesome, Philo. Laugh out loud. Oh, are you talking about the basketball game? I can play some basketball. That was something I grew up playing almost every day of my life. Plus, I went to an all-black high school, so I had no choice. I had to play basketball and be good at it. Oh, Pure Gold owns S&R. Well, there you go. There's your answer, James Lonergan. Makoto always, Makoto knows a lot about the Philippines. Makoto's kind of like Clyde Seaside. Clay says, did you ever try a compression sleeve? I tried a ace bandage and I wrapped it a little bit too tight. And when we got to our destination, my right hand was twice the size of my left. And I'm thinking, Phil, you idiot. So I had to take it off. I was actually squeezing off the circulation to my right hand. But I tell you what, it felt good. The ace bandage around my arm when we went to the Taal trip. Now that was only, I don't know, 200 kilometers one way to get down there, 220 maybe. And this Balur trip was 265. Oh, Clint. Okay. Clint was talking about the basketball game. It's fun to play with those kids. I mean, I grew up playing organized basketball, the cut and roll, and I know a lot of things about basketball strategy that these kids don't know. And not a lot of the kids are really, good about passing and cutting to the basket. So there's a couple of them that are pretty sharp, but most of the kids are run and gun. It's pretty much run and gun in flip-flops or bare feet. A lot of the kids play in bare feet. To be specific, Pure Gold acquired Karela Management Corp. Karela Management. Two Beer says, my favorite island is Iloilo. Okay, so that would be the island of Panay. Oh, Clay says that Copper Fit has copper sewn into the sleeve to warm the elbow. Oh. Craig Edwards, southwest Mindanao, the Zamboanga Peninsula, if that's what you're talking about, is somewhere you don't really want to go. There's American vloggers down there, not on Zamboanga. South Cotabato is the Rileys are down there. And there's many expats that live in Mindanao, but not many live in southwest Mindanao. In 2012, Pure Gold acquired Karela. Okay. There you go. What'd I tell you? Clyde Makoto. Ouzelfinch, thank you, sir. Thank you for the super chat. That looks like a cup of coffee. Well, James, maybe it was an SNR kiosk at a Pure Gold store. Yeah, it would be exactly that. And I'm going to watch for that now. Because SNR is not always Corona. Okay, Ouzelfinch. SNR is not terribly far from us. I'm going to be right across the street from it tomorrow when I go to LTO. But, you know, with the costs that it is at SNR, it's just not always easy. Melanie goes about every 90 days to get vitamins and stuff, which we like to have. Just a second, guys, okay? Okay, sorry about that. Where are we? Do you take, Robert Dyer is asking, do you take glucosamine? I don't take glucosamine. Is that something I should be researching? Ouzelfinch says that's for a Corona. Okay. Now, the only place I've seen Corona beer, if that's what you're talking about, is SNR. I've never seen Corona beer anywhere else. Oh, actually, the Landmark Grocery at Trinoma has it too. Eric says, thanks to Wikipedia, or Clay says, copper, as you know, is a good in conducting heat. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, you should use a heating pad on your elbow. Maybe I'm going to try that. If nothing else, I can boil some water and put a towel in there because I don't want to have to go out and buy a heating pad. But heat, you know, maybe I should start using my Chinese oil because that's pretty hot. I'll start doing that. See if I can work this out. Like I said, I don't know what it is. There's really good days and really bad, but the bad days are really bad. And on the bad days, I don't want to ride at all. So George Saltz, good morning from Florida. Sorry, I'm getting a little bit behind. Two Beer says that SNR carries the same home brand as Costco, the same home brand. Speaking of supplements, James Lonergan, see if you can find hyaluronic acid supplement for your joints. Maybe GNC may have it. Hyler, nosebleed, baby. I'm getting a nosebleed trying to read that one. Pure Gold actually used to be a PX duty-free store in Subic alongside Royal Subic. Wow, that's interesting. Why would anybody want Corona beer? All the world experts rate it as the worst tasting beer in the world. Well, I'll tell you what, in Southern California, it's a huge hit for obvious reasons. The Corona beer that we get in Southern California comes straight from Mexico. Or, sorry, probably not the clear bottles, but in Southern California, you can buy the actual original brown bottle Corona, and it's pretty tasty. Robert Dyer says glucosamine could help your joint pain. Also, blah, blah, blah acid. Hyaluronic acid. Okay. Glucosamine. Overstay Farang says it's a horrible beer. Okay. The Costco brand is Kirkland. Yes. Yeah, Clyde, I still haven't tried the WD-40. I just can't bring myself to do it. Eric says that Royal Subic Duty Free is owned by the Tantacos, the owners of Rustin's. Now, there's an expensive place to shop. We've been in a Rustin's. Man, what a neat store. But I tell you what, you better have Joseph money if you're going to shop at Rustin's. Glucosamine and chondroitin supplements is helpful for pain from osteoarthritis of the knee or hip. Glucosamine. So I should probably try and get some of that, man. Walter, Pirate Cove, Philippines. Good morning. Any vacation plans coming up, says Gary T. Not really. Clay says, when I get back in April or May, I'll buy you a compression sleeve. Well, you know, I just need to work on it. Maybe if I just did this, you know, several times a day, physical therapy does wonders. What happens though is it'll start feeling good, and I'm thinking, oh, it's healing up, and then it's kind of like my knee, you know, the knee I had the surgery on. You get a couple of bad days, and then the next 28 days are beautiful, and then you get a couple of days where it's like, oh shit. Eric, Melanie is actually getting ready to go to her sister's house. She won't be on today. Makoto says, good morning to Walter. Walter says the world experts in the world don't know shit about beer. 2 Beers is recommending the WD-40, and I think that recommendation came from 2 Beers originally. I think you were the original guy that said that. The glucosamine and the hyaluronic acid add the lubrication to the joints. I was taking glucosamine in the U.S. Okay, Makoto. So apparently you were having kind of similar issues or something, and you started taking it? The glucosamine? Well, Clyde Seaside says the first mouthful of beer is the taste test. After that, it's just drinking whatever. That's true, pretty much. Clay says, I think you don't have fluid to lubricate your elbow, so it might be bone on bone. Eric, I've been on B complex since you recommended it to me a year ago. I've been on B complex. Every single day I take it. I think you were the first one that recommended that to me. Princess Sarita from Dumagetti. Welcome to the chat. And she says, Marapipi Island is my favorite one, north of Bilirion. I'm not familiar with that. I'm gonna have to look at that on my Google Maps. Welcome to the chat anyway. Okay, Makoto says, I have knee pains, but it isn't related to my joints. The doctor says it's muscle tissue. Or I started with Rickshaw. Rickshaw says I started with Tangerine. From Longevity PH. Huh. And Two Beers says, I did read a substantial write-up about WD-40 in the Boston Medical Institute Journal. It had good reviews. It's just amazing. I just can't imagine spraying WD-40 on my elbow. I guess I should try it. James takes the hyaluronic acid. James Lonergan says B complex before and after drinking. Walter says, welcome to old age. Yeah. You know, I think for me, it's more of a too many desert motorcycle accidents that I didn't follow up on, or, you know, I've gone over the handlebars of a dirt bike so many times, more times than you could shake a stick in 10 minutes. And I think a lot of it's just injury related, that fortunately I was only 38 years of age or 39 when those accidents happened. But I think, over time, I think I'm paying the price for that shit now. I told you guys before, I had to stop desert riding in Southern California because it was just, it's just too dangerous. Bilirion is the top of Lake. Okay, thanks, Clyde. If anyone has neuropathy in their fingers or toes, yeah, my father had neuropathy. He was always pulling on his fingers and complaining that he called it myopathy, or was it neuropathy? I don't remember. Also reduce uric acid rich foods like nuts and beans. Includes beer though. Yeah, cutting down on the beer is something I'm going to work on very, very hard. It's caused me enough problems up to this point. 2 beers says it'll tingle for about 10 minutes and you start feeling relief in about 20. 2 beers, I'm gonna do it, baby. In fact, let's do it right now. Let me go get the WD-40. Be right back. No, Maddie came in. We've got Maddie in the house now. There you go. Jim Schultz says maybe you should break down and see what a real doctor says. Craig Edwards says that WD-40 is a known cancer-causing substance. Don't use it on your body, Phil. See there? One person swears by it. The next person says, don't do it. You're going to get cancer. But that's always the case, right? In the U.S., everything causes cancer. Doesn't matter what you do. Every toilet paper you use, every detergent that you use. Pirate Cove says, I did a few low sides. That wasn't too bad. But a couple of high sides I still feel today. Yeah. Can't tell you how many times I rolled my Honda Odyssey. Yeah. The idea of seeing a doctor here, it's going to have to get pretty bad. It's going to have to get pretty bad, or I'm going to have to maybe talk to Tito Road and see if he can recommend somebody, because I don't have a lot of faith in the medical system here, especially for something like this, which would require an MRI. I mean, to really get in there and figure out what's wrong, they're going to have to look at it. It's going to have to be x-rayed, maybe even MRI'd. So in the US, that's a very simple thing to get done. But here, I don't know. It could be, that could take 6 months to get an x-ray and MRI done. Robert Dyer says, good point, take L-arginine. You guys are going to break me, man. With all of these supplements, it's going to kill my monthly budget. Eric De La Cruz says, did you know that WD-40 was specifically made for rockets? It says stops squeaks, drives out moisture, cleans and protects, loosens rusted parts, and frees sticky mechanisms. Made in the USA. And then the only thing that I use this for is our front gate. You guys know how it is here. You've got a slide handle on your metal gates. That's what I use it for, because those gates those handles get stiff, and this WD-40 just makes it open and close like butter, man. 2 Beers says, has anybody done any research on those heat-producing creams? The reason they promote heating is due to an allergy reaction to the skin. WD-40 for inside wet distributor caps, yeah. Ouzel Finch it's good for cleaning and lubricating guns. Ken Colvin says, just drink Jack Daniels, you'll be fine. Jurgen Ernst says there's no geeks in here, I guess. They would recommend Windex. Somebody recommended Windex, Jurgen, already. Vicks Vapor Rub. Well, you know the saying, Filipinos put Vicks on everything, right? Two Beer says if you're from California, everything's a known cancer producing product, including the air you breathe. I lived there for 38 years probably, and it was awesome. Of course, I was lucky. I earned enough money to live there, and that's like the main thing. Earning enough money to pay all the taxes and the homeowner association fees and the but it was awesome. I loved it there, and I miss it a lot. It's a great place to live. Oozle Finch says you can even. Where am I at? At least your elbow won't squeak now. Yeah, we do have. We do have a jar of Vicks somewhere. Of course, you would have it. Jim Schultz says, "Do they have sort of a rehab clinic?" I've never seen one, Jim. I've never seen anything around me that says physical therapy clinic, or there must be something though, or physical therapy. If you watched Melanie's video, they did it in the hospital there. Of course, she wasn't released yet either, so I've never seen an actual rehab physical therapy clinic. Or if I know the Philippines, it's probably got a different name here. So I might be seeing the clinic and just don't recognize what it is. Jurgen says, I guarantee if Corona spreads in the Philippines, jeepneys are going to smell like Vicks. Well, that's probably better than what they smell like now, which is pure black diesel fume. Eric says rocket scientists of NASA used to use ordinary lubricants to keep rocket engine parts. But during re-entry to Earth, the oil, they heats up and corrodes engine parts. They invented WD-40 to replace those lubricants. Keeps corrosion in extreme temperatures. Oh, wow. Didn't know that. See, that's what we do. We learn shit here on Philo in the Philippines, baby. Jurgen says my gram used burning nettle plants. Maybe that's Siri screwing up your text there, buddy. So you're going to apply this WD-40 on your joints to stop it from squeaking? No, Makoto. It's been said it helps with pain, joint pain. So, yeah, maybe it just distracts from the pain. Isn't that what I read something somewhere that's what aspirin does, like regular white aspirin. When you take a regular white aspirin, it makes your stomach bleed just a little bit. which takes your body's focus away from your headache, and then it focuses on your stomach. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, but I read that somewhere. The Chinese bombs. Yeah, I had a Vietnamese girlfriend at one time that lived by this stuff. And it seems to work really well. Now, we bought, I don't remember what it was, an 8 or 10 pack in Thailand. It was super cheap. In the U.S., this is a big bottle. This would be about $5 in the U.S. in Little Saigon, in the Vietnamese area of the U.S. But in Thailand, I think we got 10 of those bottles for, what did we pay? It was cheap. It came to about $1 a bottle. If it doesn't alleviate the pain, it gets you to a place where you just don't care anymore. What's that? Oh. Yeah, whiskey. I used to take guarana oil or deep heat works great. Just need to wash your hands well. Yeah, that's the same with that Chinese oil. You have to make sure that you watch. You got to make sure that you wash your hands really well. Eric De La Cruz says aspirin is tough on the intestine, but it's good for the heart. Now, you know what? There's a lot of controversy around that too. I used to take an aspirin every day. And then somebody said, oh, you got to stop doing that, man. That's really bad for you. You're only supposed to take an aspirin a day after you have a heart attack, or if you have a heart attack. That's when you go on the aspirin therapy. So I don't know. I mean, back in the day, when I used to climb high peaks in the U.S. I've done every high peak in Southern California, and they recommend that you go on aspirin 2 weeks before to make your circulation better, because a lot of people get altitude sickness. When you get up above 10,000 feet, a lot of people get altitude sickness. So, and most of the high peaks in California are above 10,000. So I did when I went to Hong Kong, Makoto says when I went to Hong Kong, they said they used Tiger Balm on everything. Yeah, Tiger Balm was big in Little Saigon too, in Southern California. Philip Ino, what is your favorite Filipino food? Probably favorite Filipino food. Probably the sisig, I think. And gunaling, is it galing or gunaling? I really like that. And I like all the adobos, you know, either the pork or the chicken adobo. It's just fantastic. Bulalu's awesome. But the favorite, I would think probably, a good sisig. Dr. Wong's sulfur soap. Somebody's selling them for $25 each plus 5 shipping. Wow. Eric says that's why Aspalitz is good to take every day. It doesn't upset the tummy too much. Yeah, I took an aspirin every day for probably 2 years as a, well, lumpia, Yamakoto, as a just a health precaution. I knew I was coming to the Philippines and I wanted to, and we got into a big thing in the chat here one day about aspirin a day, and the general consensus was to stop taking it. So it's only supposed to be good for you after you have a heart attack. But it's not good for you pre heart attack. I even had a, oh, I don't know what happened to him. I don't know what happened to that bottle. But it wasn't like Bayer or Excedrin. It was just your basic. What I read before, just buy the basic little white aspirin. You know, you don't have to pay, the expensive Excedrin prices. Ken says that's baby aspirin for heart problems. It's a blood thinner. Yeah, low dose aspirin thins the blood and is bad for bleeders. That can save your life if you do have a heart attack. Well, I'll tell you what, you're right about that. Even if I would get a small scrape or a cut, man, would it bleed when I was taking that aspirin. Ken Colvin said that's what my dad was told to take when he had heart problems. Okay, we're gonna test out two beers theory here. It can't hurt to do it once, right? In the Philippines, this is a paper towel. You guys know what these are. Okay. Two beers says about 10 minutes. He said it's going to start tingling, and then about 10 minutes, the pain will be gone. We shall see. You're seeing it right here, guys. Philo in the Philippines. WD-40 for joint pain. There you go, two beers. Took me a while to do it, but I'm finally testing the WD-40 theory. Okay. James says I take 81 milligram aspirin before and during my flights to reduce the chance of leg blood clots. Makoto, Philo likes lumpia when he uploads a video searching for a lumpia vendor. Yeah. Well, you know what it is about the lumpia? I'm also a hot sauce fanatic, and there's nothing better than lumpia with, hot sauce on in every bite. They say if you feel like you're about to have a heart attack, chew 2 aspirins, and long-term use is definitely not recommended. See? Daily aspirin can cause bleeding in the gut. Yeah. Well, anyway, it's probably been a year since I stopped taking it. So it's been at least a year, probably. I think that happened. Did Phil say, hold my beer? Two Beer says, if it works, you should know before the end of the stream. Yeah. Hey, why not try it? You know, it's if nothing else, hopefully it's a little entertaining. I don't know. Some of you might be going, what a dumbass. And I would concur with that statement. I certainly haven't been the smartest guy, especially since I've been here. How many of you have wives that use that green smelly oil to cure all the joint and muscle pains? Oh, is that the Palawan oil? Or no, what's it called? I see that, Sean, for sale at the Changet all the time, or on the street somewhere. I think it's called Miracle Palawan oil or something. Or is it Miracle Mindanao oil, I think is what it's called. Clyde Seaside says, if the WD-40 does not work, hit your finger with a hammer. You won't feel the pain in your elbow anymore. I think people talk about, Juergens, I think people talk about different dosages here. 81 milligrams is approved for daily use, with exceptions like bleeders or those with stomach ulcers. And Ken says, that's why I said baby aspirin. James says the WD has fish oil in it, and at least the cats will follow you around. Well, Maddie won't like that. Is she still here? Yeah. She's sleeping under the bed there. Yeah, Eric, we have something, and I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. It's in a vial about this big. It's always for sale at the Saturday market that we have here in the neighborhood. And it's one vendor, a lady, it's called Miracle Mindanao oil or Miracle Palawan oil. Efficacent oil. Okay. Well, Eric would know. But the oil that they sell here, that it's also green and it's got like different things in it, like a couple of insects and some leaves. Yeah, it's salad oil with green coloring. And it's got this long list of things that it cures, you know. See, that's why I was the smell of the WD-40. Eric De La Cruz, I'm sure that it's for sale in Quiapo, yeah. I've seen it several places, you know. It's 100 pesos, I think, for a bottle, and I don't know. I would imagine it's probably along the lines of a Bengay or something like that. Maybe it's for sale in Quiapo, yeah. Walter says Dr. Philo's MD live show. Yeah, what happened? We're supposed to be talking about food. Normally it's a food show. Today we're trying to fix stuff medically. I like the food show better, guys, just so you know. It's no fun having pain. The snake oil. Walter, I haven't found the screw. But you know what? Also, I kind of gave up. I think I'm going to go back out with the flashlight like you recommended and try. But the thing is, I've taken so many trips on the bike now, just short trips. And you guys know from watching the moto vlogs, there's 100 speed bumps between here and the front gate. So I'm reasonably sure that screw is bounced out. We've gone to, Melanie and I went to Save More before she left. Then Johnny B and I went to Save More. We took Maddie to the vet. I've been to the front gate several times to drop Ira May off, Johnny B off. I'm certain that screw is bounced out of there somewhere. But I am going to, take your advice and go outside with the flashlight. I'll do it tonight. Eric De La Cruz, Bahol. Okay. Bahol. Ken says, if you like the food show, just stop getting older and no more problems. Fake kosher cooking oil. Yeah, Jim. An elbow brace. Kind of like this one I've got for my knee, maybe. I know when I put this thing on my knee, I feel like Superman. So does the Philippines count as a favorite island? Maja Blanca is my all-time favorite Filipino treat. I'm not really familiar with that. Eric says we're an archipelago, actually. James Lonergan says there's a copper bracelet commercial on TV right now. Now that should scare you. They say, and I have heard several times and also witnessed this for myself, that if you use Facebook Messenger, that occasionally, and it says it right in the terms of agreement, occasionally Messenger will turn your mic on and listen to what you're saying. And then you'll start receiving ads on Facebook. And I didn't believe it. This actually came from Rike, Henry. He was one of the first people that did a video about it and warned people about Facebook Messenger. And it's funny, but one day, Melanie and I were talking about going down to Palawan. My phone was sitting there. We were on. This is back in our webcam days when that's all we had, Skype. When I was still in the U.S., she was here. And within a couple of days, man, boom, all over my Facebook feed were airfares to Palawan, hotels in Palawan. And I was like, maybe there's something to that. If a rabbi observes it being prepared, it's deemed kosher. Wow. Princess Anne Nude. Hello. Jim Schultz says, if you can't find one for your elbow, I would gladly mail you one. Well, I would have to go to probably Watson's, I'm thinking. Or Eric De La Cruz says, oh, wait a second. Rick Shaw says, oh, I swallow. If you can't find one, okay. Rick Shaw says it's the congealed coconut stuff with corn in it. Yeah, Melanie has made that here before. It's okay. A lot of the desserts here have a really funny texture to them, and a lot of the desserts are very much like that one that you're describing, Rick Shaw. And it's just, to me, it's just okay. The texture is kind of weird. Eric says, I don't use Facebook Messenger. It's not working right. Just a second, you guys. I'll be right back. Sorry. Wow, it's 10:45 already. Man. Okay, sorry. Rickshaw says he thinks that he's weird because he really loves balut. Wow. And Walter says, if you look at an item on Lazada, I will see it on my Facebook feed and YouTube as well. Yeah, that's happened to me. That's happened to me too. But I think the whole idea of them turning on your microphone here on your phone and listening to what you're saying is kind of weird. And I wonder if it's true. But again, it's happened to me, so I believe it. I believe it to be true. And I've heard other people say it happened to them too. Eric says the algorithm that uses keywords to censor messages in Twitter and Facebook is also here in YouTube. Censor messages in Twitter and Facebook is also here in YouTube. Okay. Makoto says that Maddie has been activated. Oh, you heard her? Yeah, we had somebody at the gate. Melanie was in the shower, and we had somebody at the gate at the same time looking for Melanie. She oh, I just wanted to make sure the gate got shut because Maddie has figured out how to, if somebody goes to sorry or something, of course they don't want to lock the gate. They can't get back in the house. And Maddie has figured out how to tap on that gate with her hand, with her paw. You know, if she does it 5 or 6 times, and out she goes. And she doesn't always take off. Sometimes she just goes out and takes a big dump on the speed bump. For some reason, she likes to poop on the speed bumps here. Ken Colvin says, I've eaten sheep brains, but I won't eat balut. Well, I don't know, 2 beers. I'm not I'm not on board with this yet. How long has it been, I wonder? Eric also loves balut. Something about PCP. I'm not sure what that means, but Eric De La Cruz says, you're the man. PCP. Yes, that happens to us also. Clyde says, Facebook Messenger is crazy. Some guy butt dialed me from the Philippines last week. I didn't actually butt dial you. I sent you an invite to join Messenger, which is weird because I don't know how that happened, Clyde. It happened somewhere between Maddie's veterinarian and here. And I actually had the phone in my cargo pocket. So I don't know. Me and Johnny B were riding home from the vet, and when I got home, it was you just invited Clyde Seaside to join Facebook Messenger. And I was like, well, he's already on Facebook Messenger. Gerald Liam, welcome to the chat, if I didn't say that already. And he says he's struggling to buy antiseptic cream in Manila, like Savlon or Germaline. Gerald Liam, I no. Antiseptic cream. Antiseptic cream. Like a Bacitracin ointment. Isn't bacitracin antiseptic in the U.S.? Wasn't that our big? Yeah, Robert Dyer. That is no lie at all. Maddie, if we take Maddie for a walk, the only place that she will pee, I won't say poop, but the only place that she will pee is on top of the speed bumps. And she'll stop at every one. And you know how a dog is. A dog will squat and pee even if their tanks are empty. Filipino, thank you so much, sir. Thank you for the super chat. I really appreciate that. Filipino TV. Another vlogger. Another Filipino vlogger in the US. One hour and 37 minutes. Okay. Ken Colvin, thank you for coming by the chat, brother. Thank you for your medical input. Today was a medical chat. Rickshaw Philippines says, let your food be your medicine. Well, you know, and that's not really the easiest thing here either in the Philippines, is it? The Philippines food, although very tasty, is not really what I would consider the healthiest of the Asian foods, right? It seems that there's a lot of oil and sugar in a lot of the food here. Now, I'm not saying that you can't change that, but just in general, let's say that you're out and you go to Carinderia, there's not going to be a lot of super healthy options at Carinderia, right? Something we have a hard time finding here is green leaf lettuce. There seems to be an abundance of head type lettuce at a place like either Save More or Pure Gold, but the green leaf lettuce is really, really hard to get. And when you do find it, you gotta take it home and eat it almost right away. It seems like it doesn't really last long. And every time that we have, or Melanie cooks the Korean barbecue, we have the when Melanie does, she'll buy the oh, it's so good too. She will buy the shaved pork, and we'll do a homemade Korean barbecue. And somewhere, I don't know where she gets it, but she'll find this green leaf lettuce. But she buys it like that afternoon and brings it home, washes it, and we eat it right away. It's not like the US where you can buy a green leaf lettuce, store it in a plastic bag in your vegetable shelf in your reefer, and it'll last a whole week. Here, it's gone, man, in a day. Rickshaw says, I eat nothing fried and almost no sugar. It can be done. Yeah. Marshall Tito, welcome to the chat. He says when he's in the Philippines, he usually cooks all of his own meals. Yeah. Makoto says the climate for leafy lettuce is too hot there. Yeah. Now, here in my family, eating nothing fried and no sugar would eliminate almost all of the food that we eat in the house. Because even the spaghetti sauce that you buy, although you can buy American spaghetti sauce, which Melanie normally does. Melanie's not a big fan of the sweet spaghetti, with the hot dogs in it. When Melanie came to the US, she got used to my spaghetti, which was a kind of a spicy Italian style spaghetti with a lot of oregano and a little bit of chili powder. Actually, I would make my spaghetti a little spicy with a little bite to it. She got used to that. She really liked it. Exactly the opposite of Filipino spaghetti. Thomas Greenberg says, hard to find good calzone in the Philippines. Yeah. Clyde says, we're being ignored by Ed, Brian, and Tim today. Well, I think Tim might be sick, you said. Brian, I just talked to last night. He's doing okay. He's actually going on a trip to Balur next Tuesday. Him and Lut are going up to Balur. Probably Sabang Beach, the same place that Rush Riders went. He invited us to go with him. I don't know if we're going to be able to go. George Salt says I can't do any of the seaweed. Zim Zim, welcome to the chat, says I have to cook my own breakfast. Can't find a good Western style breakfast there. Yeah, you've got to be in the tourist area to find that. And Rickshaw says your diet will cause inflammation. Yeah, that's why I take turmeric tabs to try and. Gerald Lim, thank you for the super chat, sir. Thank you, Gerald Liam, for the super chat. Makoto says I don't trust the tap water there, so vegetables washed in tap water for me is a no-no. Yeah, it's well known, Makoto, that Manila water is okay, prime water is not okay. So many of the Filipinos here, including sometimes my own family, I will typically buy the blue jugs, but they will drink here in this household. They will drink the Manila water. It's considered safe to drink here in the Philippines. I don't know. I'm only the messenger. Okay, keep that in mind. I'm only the messenger. Marshall Tito says I took some Thai cooking classes and that helped me out a lot for my cooking. Yeah, Thai food is fantastic. James is asking, is Paul not available today? I haven't talked to Paul in about a week. Gerald, nice. Marshall Tito says, oh, okay, Philip Eno TV. Thank you, Paul, for coming by. Check out Philip's channel, guys. Thank you, Paul, for coming by. Somebody else at the gate. I don't know. I heard a loud knock, and so did Maddie, but there's nobody there. Eric De La Cruz says that nobody ever died here of water poisoning yet. Yeah, Eric, when I first came here, there were a lot of people saying, oh, don't use it to brush your teeth. Don't use it for this, that. And I'm just like, this is all just a little bit extreme. It's, I'm always thinking, this is all just a little bit extreme, isn't it? Don't brush your teeth with the water? How would you brush your teeth then? You know, there's a lot of things that are said. Rickshaw says, if you drown, would that not be water poisoning? Terrence Walters, sir, thank you so much for the super chat. Thank you. Thank you, Terrence Walters, for the super chat, brother. We really appreciate that. Man, that helps us a lot. Thank you so much. Marshall Tito says, watching Brian's videos closely, I finally figured out what he was talking about by finding an apartment or villa on a street that is not used as a cut through. Well, yeah. You really have to kind of hang out there. When you find an apartment, you kind of want to hang out there. You kind of want to. Come on. She wanted back in. There she is. Say hello. She really likes to sleep underneath that bed, man. You really have to check it out during the morning. Check it out. Go there late at night to see what it's like there before you commit. Two Beer says, if you're in a large urban area, the tap water is usually treated. If you're in the province, about the only treatment done is passing the water through a sand filter. And Walter says a lot of people live by the extreme. Yeah. Yeah, thank you again, Terrence. I really appreciate that. Yeah. And like where we live here, we're in the very back. So there's not a lot of, we don't have constant traffic, but there's places here in Palmyra I would not want to live. Like the main road that takes you out to the front gate. I wouldn't want to live anywhere on that main road because all day long, man, it's nothing but cars going by, trikes going by, loud motorcycles going by. You have no rest at all. But back here where we live, it's very, very quiet. Melanie was very smart for buying this lot and the house. It's, this is one of the better places to live. Probably in the entire subdivision, really. Do they add chlorine to the tap water in their treatment systems? I'm going to say yes to that. Marshall Tito says, I tried a few places and the noise levels were very high from tricycles and jeepneys. Yeah, you want to get off of a main road if you can. And it's not hard to tell where there's a good place. It's not hard at all. Philip Eno says, happy to support you, sir. Good night, Poe. Philip Eno, thank you again. Eric De La Cruz, the worst place is Bagong Silang. The open pipe scooters there are just nonstop, man. And I mean, it's, what do you say? Almost unbelievable how loud. I don't see how anybody could ride around on one of those and not have complete hearing damage. I'm not sure why anybody does. Why would somebody do an open pipe like that? Is it just because the original pipe needed to be replaced or something, and it's cheaper that way? Or it's hard to imagine somebody actually wanting a bike that's that loud, or even a scooter that's that loud. That's that loud. But man, you're right. Those open pipe. Oh, we were at the Tambay Nights Rush Riders over at headquarters, and they're on that main road in Bagong Silong. They just go by all night long. Terrence Walter says, if you had another city in the Philippines other than Caloocan, where would you like to move to? Just from my experience, now I've been pretty much all over Luzon. I really like Zambales, and I really like the Union area. So somewhere in one of those two provinces, probably, I would pick. Tropical Tim, hello, sir. I'm just about to shut it down, Tim. I really liked some of the places I saw up north. Now, I haven't been to Davao. Dumaguete, you know, I'm sure is great, but Dumaguete's getting expensive because it's overrun with expats. I've heard that Davao is pretty nice, though. Tim says he wants to move to Tondo. Good one. Uh, Open pipes are illegal, yet we still hear them often here, especially during the night. Yeah. I guess it's just another thing that doesn't get enforced, right, Eric? There's just so much, there's a lot of great rules and laws here, but there's no enforcement. Does it do any good to have a law that's not enforced? I don't know. Carl Fernung, good morning, sir. How are you? Tropical Tim, I heard that you were a little bit under the weather, bud. James Lonergan, that's another great point. Iloilo does look very interesting, although I only spent one day there. Iloilo looked pretty damn nice to me. Actually, Panay, a lot of the cities you go through in Panay look pretty nice, especially up in the north. It's really hard to say, you guys. You have to. Thankfully, we've got other expats that are already, or other vloggers that are already in a lot of these cities, and they're doing vlogs. So you get to see what it's like without having to go and visit. That's the great thing about it. Thanks to Tropical Tim, we know that you can get almost anything you want to eat in Tondo, on the street, baby. Sadly, the good old days. 2 beers that says here in Canada, in the good old days, you won. In the good old days. Carl Fernan likes San Jose on Mindoro. Occidental Mindoro. That would be in the south, if I'm not mistaken, right? Isn't Oriental Mindoro the northern part of where Puerto Galera is? Mindoro's pretty nice, too. Terrence just spent 17 days in Angeles, Olongapo, Subic Bay, Zambales, Baguio, Apalit, Florida Blanca, and Doniguan. Well, you did quite a bit there, sir. Nice vacation. Terrence didn't like any of those cities. Oh, you didn't like Apalit. We thought Apalit was pretty cool. You know, we were just there with the Rush Riders a month or so ago for a fiesta. We liked Apalit. We thought it was pretty cool. Only because I guess it was something different, you know. Didn't like Olongapo. A lot of people like Olongapo. And a lot of people like Zambales, which is going to be your cities up towards San Antonio, San Francisco, Barreto. Eric knows of a good Japanese restaurant. Okay. Marshall Tito was in CDO for a month. That's where Melanie just came from. Melanie was in CDO. Yeah, Tim says if you're scared and timid, move to the expat populated areas. That's true. If you're a little adventurous, then yeah. I guess I would be you and I, Tim, are pretty adventurous. Ain't no expats here, baby. And Jim says he likes Balabago. Many American restaurants and shopping options. Yeah. Melanie, in her video when she was in CDO, she didn't get a lot of footage on the outside. There's a little bit of moto vlogging here and there of CDO, but the area that she was in was somewhat outside the city. It took her 2 hours to get to the hospital from the airport. So Terrence says, I wanted to try Laos in northern Luzon, but didn't make it. You do all this by bus? Boy, you did a lot of... Yeah, Slim Jim is in CDO. That's right, Eric. Marshall says that CDO is compact, crowded, and noisy, but it's nice because of the coast and the mountains. Ah, Kyle Jennerman is in CDO. Oh, you rented a Vulcan 650. Well, there you go. All right, Terrence. Wow, that's very cool. That nice bike. Yeah, I've seen that bike. They had that bike there when the last time I was in Angeles, which was back in I don't know, April sometime? Or no, it was for Philly Brian's birthday. June? Yeah, Dennis, I've heard great things about San Fernando. I've heard great things about San Fernando La Union. 2 beers. I'm about to log out, man. I'm done. Yeah, Clyde, after watching Tim and Road, Benando or Divisoria, yeah, he does a lot of logging down there, Tito Road. Jim Hennessy, hello, sir. I'm sorry, but I'm just about to log out. Graham says Marari City has cheap rentals. Yeah, Tropical Tim, we'll get you on next week if we're here. I don't know if we're going to be here. Has that WD order made your elbow any better? No. I would say no. Hey, I've got a friend who rode right through there on his Kawasaki 650 with his girlfriend on the back. American, lives in Tondo. He did the whole Mindanao route, and he rode right through Marawi. Didn't even think about it. Says it was no big deal at all. Yeah, it's worth a try. I agree. I think it's been long enough that if it's an actual fact, I would have probably felt something, or maybe not, depending on the injury that you have. When you're out and about, look for a copper fit elbow brace. I sure will, James. Thanks a lot. Okay, you guys, that's going to be a wrap for our chat today. Thank you so much to all of the super chatters we had today. In front of AUF in Angeles City. Sorry, John Barnhart, I don't know that. Tropical Tim later. James, thank you for being here today, sir. Thank you so much, everybody. We are logging off, and we'll see you next week, and we'll see you on the next video. Thanks again.